So.
Well, I wish you the best of luck for today's chat. We're having a chat because we need a day to set equipment up to be able to demonstrate anything. So I want to tell you how far we got and why I want to come to Glastonbury to start the British unit up. The reason Glastonbury is because it's a musical place. When you do technical documentaries, you have so much space with no sound. So we need people with musical intent are there to create ideal music to add to the scenery. First of all, it's a British invention. Yet the work is stopped in Britain and it's working, shall I say, extremely fast in Thailand. We expect by the end of the year to have the first plate and 12 rollers running around demonstrating that the scientists are wrong. You can get a mass of material to rotate around a plate with no input as we know it. It has its own input. Here in Glastonbury, I would like to set up this program to develop the SUG for the United Kingdom. And to do so, I'm hoping we can find the land needed and the workshop required and the living accommodation. The SUG, why the SUG? Well, the government is about planning to build 10 nuclear power stations. All your power stations now operating about near the end of their lifetime, another 5 years. We don't want nuclear power. But if we don't want nuclear power, we've got to come up with some other source, better than wind power, better than solar cell. The SUG can fill that gap. There's no pollution and there's no harm from it. If every car was powered by the SUG, you'll have no pollution. You can run cars at any speed you like. By batteries, you're limited to how fast you can run, how long you can run for. The SUG means you can hop in the car, regardless of weather, switch on and away you go. No stopping to refuel. The only disadvantage is that every 2 years you need to take the motors off the wheels and clean them and re-insulate them so that they don't short out on you. But that's MOT only once every 2 years. Now, we have another advantage here. The SUG allows you to change the structure of the car function. It means that as you're driving along, you go to pull out, but a car's passing. What happens then is that the field between that car and you halts you pulling out. So you just cannot have an accident. The other thing about the SUG is that it's not difficult to make. It's the only difficult part is a magnetic layer. It has to have a special magnetizer. This is not on the market. This has been developed by our men in Thailand, and we hope by December it will be built and in test. The magnetizer at this stage needs 100 car batteries and a 350 kilowatt generator to power it. But once the SUGs are made, it can then switch over to SUG's operation. Now, if we could find an ideal place here in Glastonbury where we could make the SUG, think of the employment. People would be wanted to do the machining, packing, delivery, and that collecting the raw materials to work with. It would increase the business side of Glastonbury because SUGs would be wanted across the whole of the United Kingdom. Before we go any further, anyone has any questions they would like to ask?
She asked, what does the SUG stand for?
The SUG stands for the SearlFX generator. It's a effect I discovered years ago because we called it by its technical term of its structure. But the Japanese said that that's too long for anyone to remember. It's only simple, SUG, SearlFX generator. The name of the inventor should be in it.
how much energy do you need to put in to the process to manufacture it?
To start off with, we got a big power batteries, good heavy lorry batteries for the magnetizer. All the other equipment run off the mains. Further three-phase.
So is there a net gain? You get more energy out than you have to put in?
Oh, yes, because the SEG has no energy input other than itself from the room. It compresses all these electrons in the room into a beam, and that, on release, it does the work you want to do. So you don't put the energy in, it's there, and it just takes what's there. And in the process passing through the machine, the air is cleaned, so the oxygen coming out of the machine is absolutely pure. And that goes back into the atmosphere. So you just forget it. You put it in the wall and forget about it. Because in 1,000 years it'll still be running. You'll be gone, your family have enjoyed it, their family has enjoyed that use of it. It's an investment for life and for your family life. That's the beauty of it. In a car, when the body gets worn out, you just go buy a new body and take the old one off and stick that one on. The power unit itself, you just forget about it. The SEG is something that literally don't wear out. The reason why it don't wear out is because the rollers rotating are floating. They don't touch the surface of the plate. So there's no friction going on. And secondly, as the magnetic field revolves, the plate is being reprinted. The plate itself is reprinting the rollers. So it's a continued wave that is being created. So the wave never disappears. The one I ran at Mortimer ran 30 years before the government discovered it, and the electric board ripped it out and confiscated it as not conforming to their rules and regulations. In other words, they're getting no money.